A Night of Sexy Spanking, Lesbian BDSM Erotica, written by Vixen, narrated by Jessica Howard. The touch on her leg under the table was what Felicity had been hoping for all evening, and she pushed towards it as she looked at the pretty face opposite her. "Naughty girl," Joanne teased. "What the fuck does that make you?" Felicity shot back. "You made the first move." She drank enough that evening for it to lower her inhibitions, although she was still conscious of the people around her. The club was busy, and there was every chance that someone would see what was going on. She still let the caress of fingertips on her leg slide higher until they reached the hem of her short dress. "Smooth skin," Joanne said and smiled. It was the most beautiful thing Felicity had ever seen. At least, that was the thought floating through her tipsy mind, while she stared at the smile of the girl opposite. Fingers slipping below the hem of the dress took things further than she wanted, and she pulled back as nerves got the better of her. "Spoil sport," Joanne said, and laughed as she straightened up. "Someone might see," Felicity replied anxiously and glanced around. "So?" Joanne said, and her laugh grew louder. Felicity narrowed her eyes as she stared across the table. She couldn't believe her luck that she'd met Joanne almost as soon as she walked in the club, and they'd spent much of the evening together. When her friends decided to move on somewhere else, she stayed, and the night seemed to be heading in the way she hoped it would. That Joanne appeared to be having similar thoughts made her all the more certain they'd end up in bed together, and she met the gaze staring at her. It set her heartbeat racing, and she lifted her glass to take a drink. There was no shaking off the ripple of excitement when she heard the words. "I'll have to get you somewhere more private then." "Like where?" Felicity asked. "My place isn't too far from here," Joanne said. "You're more than welcome to come back for a nightcap." Felicity held the glass at her lips as she watched the smile on a pretty face widen. It was a definite sign that more than a drink might be on the cards if she accepted the offer, and she did so without a second of hesitation. "Yeah, okay. Drink up then, and we can go," Joanne said. Felicity kept her gaze on her new friend as she tilted her head back to empty the glass. An air of anticipation hung over them, and she got the impression things were about to become a little wild. There was no knowing if that was actually true, but she was on the verge of finding out. "Come on then," Joanne said, and got to her feet. Felicity wasted no time doing the same. She got her coat and bag and followed as they made their way through the crowds towards the exit.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?